kind of to the last part. No, sorry, there's one quick little foray, and I don't want to take too long on this. Just wanted to mention other solutions in case you had any questions, and we'll kind of dive quickly through this. Basically, a lot of people think, well, I could just use Wi-Fi, and I list some of the challenges you have with Wi-Fi. And basically, where we've seen it work, you've got to have these kind of qualifications. So residential, low occupancy, common authentication. So one network that not a lot of people use. Even then, you have some limits. Now, the limits will decrease over time as the two technologies, the Wi-Fi and the cellular LTE and 5G technologies kind of, partner together better. And there's a parallel to 5G in the Wi-Fi side that's called WiGig. I don't know if anybody's heard of WiGig, but you can anticipate that unlicensed spectrum that's available for wireless networks, for corporate networks or whatever, will be operating in the same microwave range that the carriers are going to. So WiGig will be a microwave technology. So I point out the upsides and the downsides of trying to use a Wi-Fi WiGig solution. And I'll just mention two things. One, most customers we see think that they're not competing, but they're combined technologies. There are different use cases and different applications. And then we are actually assisting some customers who tried to solve their connectivity solution with just Wi-Fi, and we're having to add a supplementary DAS because they've got some dissatisfaction in that regard. The reason I bring up the ERCS, Emergency Responder Radio Communication System, that's 17 syllables, a lot easier to say ERCS, is that in most jurisdictions, the fire marshal, the AHJ, will allow you to build on a common infrastructure. There are some places that won't. Denver, absolutely disallowed. Certain jurisdictions in Florida, disallowed. But in our experience, and we're into the hundreds across the country, we're over 30 states, the large majority of jurisdictions will allow you to build your DAS and your ERCS on the same cabling and antenna infrastructure, and that can produce a pretty significant savings. Now, where the trend is going, and the increasing survivability requirements, will that continue? I don't know. But right now, it exists as a good cost synergy, obviously more applicable in new construction. And then the last thing kind of is, well, you mentioned that CBRS might be my holy grail, and it could be. CBRS might actually be a way to kind of solve all of your in-building connectivity needs, both private and cellular, for the next 5 to 8 years. The challenge is, because of the unusual licensing structure, there's not a current cost model for the cellular CBRS. So there's a cost model for private CBRS, and the carriers aren't even utilizing it yet because of the complexity around that cost model and all the back office solutions or technologies that are necessary to support it. But CBRS has the potential to enable you to get rid of two-way radios, to enable you to secure all kinds of various devices on a secure, bandwidth intensive, high throughput, high speed network, and for people to be able to walk in with a cell phone with a CBRS chipset and get 5G like performance. So the potential exists, we just don't know enough yet.